Welcome to Subramani. I'm making one of my favorite videos on mistakes that equity investors make. This is going to be slightly different from in the mistakes that mutual fund investors make. So let's start. Both of them start at the same place, right? I've written a book on goal-based investing, right? So here you can be rich too with goal-based investing. So the first step which you have to take in any journey is to make a map. The first step that you have to take in investment, any investment that you make, is to have your investment goal very clear. If you do not have your investment goal very clear, it is like saying, I want to go out but I don't know where to go. Take any simple act. Even if you want to go out and eat, you have to first decide whether you want to eat Chinese food, Indian food, continental food, right? Do you want to drive? Do you want to walk? Do you want to order out? Do you want to go there and eat, right? So all these questions have to be answered even before doing a simple act of eating. And this, if you're eating in a group, you have to call people, put up on WhatsApp messages, right? And then coordinate. Similarly, for investing, if you do not know the goal for which you are investing, you are already in trouble, because it's only your goal which tells you what should be your time horizon for which you are investing. Are you investing for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 27 years, right? If you do not know that, then you're just buying some ad hoc shares and saying, if it appreciates, I will sell. If it does not appreciate, I will hold, or things like that. It becomes too vague. And at the time of having to sell it, you wouldn't know how to, whether to sell it, whether to hold it, how long to hold it, right? None of that you will know. So first is to have an investment objective very clear as to why you are buying that particular share, right? Or why you are investing at all, right? Are you investing for your child's marriage? Are you investing for your child's education? Are you investing for your own retirement? Because if your child is already 15 years old, then your child's education fund is required in the next 3 years or 6 years or 7 years. That's it. So it's just 7-year time frame. But if you are for your retirement that you're saving, and you're just say 47 years of age, that means you've got at least another 13 years minimum to go, maybe 15 years to go, maybe even earlier, but at least you know that you will work somewhere. Even if you lose this job, you will take up a job till you're 65, 60. So if you at least know for what you're investing, then the second one follows, that you know the time frame for which you're investing, because the lack of goals means you do not know what time frame that you're investing for. That is problem number one and problem number two, right? And another important thing is underestimating the time horizon that you are investing for. Assuming you're 51 years of age, then your life expectancy could be about 81, 82. But the minute you become 61, it could become 84, 85, right? Your expectancy changes according to the actuarial tables. So even underestimating there by 10 years can be dramatically wrong. If you thought that you will die at 85 and you end up dying at 95, have you adequately provided for the last 10 years, right? So the time horizon comes from knowing for which goal you are investing. The third thing which I find a big problem for today's generation, which we did not have, is your broker means a young 24-year-old, 25-year-old who has got a target of increasing the revenues from your account. That's it. That person does not know portfolio construction, does not know why you are investing in equity, is nothing. They just know, oh sir, आज Larsen and Toubro ले लो 2300 100 रुपये मिलेगा. I mean, you're making no money, right? If you sell it off at 2400, but he has got a target of creating activity in your portfolio, or she has got an invested interest in churning your portfolio. You don't have that. You don't need to do that, right? So there is conflict of advice, in the sense that when we were younger, the broker was a person who had some knowledge of the markets. He would ask questions: why are you investing? How long will you stay invested? Are you a trader? Are you an investor? Today your relationship managers know none of this. They themselves don't know how to build an equity portfolio, but they are your relationship manager, and they will keep actively churning you, and they will keep saying things like, sir, your portfolio is so much, we will save so much on brokerage. I said, how do you know how much money you will save on brokerage? No sir, on an average, assuming you churn your portfolio 4 times, then so much. And I said, wow, I don't churn my portfolio 4 times in 4 years. There is no way how I'm churning my portfolio that much, right? So they don't know, and so they are of no great help. So a brokerage earlier used to be an advisor come executor. Today it is purely an executor. So expecting to get help from the broker today for building a portfolio is wrong, completely wrong. Another mistake which we make, which we do not even realize that we are making, is ignoring the impact of inflation on our portfolios. We have got used to a very low level of inflation since 2014. No, I'm not talking as a Modi supporter, but Raghuram Rajan came and said we will target inflation, and then we have been targeting inflation very well. The government has cooperated and we are targeting inflation very well. I had never thought that there would be a time in my life when the inflation in the US would be higher than the inflation in India, albeit for a small period, but it did happen. It was unthinkable because we used to see 13 to 14% inflation in India and 2-3% in the US, or less than 1% in Japan. These countries just didn't have anything called inflation. Assuming that inflation will only be 4% could be wrong, it could be 8%. So don't make wrong assumptions, and even if you have made some assumptions, review it at every year, because when some of these numbers go wrong, it could go dramatically wrong. I mean, imagine inflation doubling. You can't even think of it, right? But in the US, inflation went up almost 10 times, from 1% to 10%, though of course it was temporary, it came down. But can you even imagine that happening in India? No, because inflation in India has always been high. So you can at best think it will go up 30%, but will it go up 100 times? Will it go up 10 times? Will it go up 100%? That seems to be very difficult at 7%, but it happened in the US. So be careful about what can happen and what can't happen. Also be very careful to understand that you do not understand many of these things, right? So the next mistake which people make is completely making a mess of thinking that they understand macros. I am on the Peter Lynch side of saying I don't understand macros, and if you have spent 10 minutes on macros, 7 minutes have been wasted. Macros don't really matter, because in the short run your macros won't matter. In the long run, you can't change too much about your macros. So if you want to look at macro, look around yourself. Everybody around you has shifted to a bigger house, bigger car, more vacations in India, vacations abroad, expensive vacations, right? Everybody's standard of living in terms of cash has definitely gone up. So are you worried? Should you be worried about the macros? I don't think you should worry too much about the macros, simply because we don't even understand how macros will work. If we do not understand macros in the longer run, what should we do? It's very difficult to say, but try understanding macro just at the level at which the GDP is, what interest rates are. Beyond this, don't get too much into the services index is growing and the manufacturing index is falling. Getting a grip on all this, and therefore its impact on the market, is not going to be very easy. Make an attempt, but please understand that you're very vulnerable to your lack of knowledge of those things, right? Another thing is most people who buy equities have no clue how to create a portfolio. Portfolio construction is an art. You can completely avoid that by going to mutual funds, but if you're into equities and you think your substantial wealth of yours is going to be built with equities, you need to understand that you have to look at some good portfolio of a good fund manager, or the Sensex and Sensex or Nifty, whatever, and make sure that you are somewhere near it. You cannot have a portfolio of only BFSI or of only pharma companies. I've seen people do that. I've seen a doctor who was holding almost all the pharma companies that he knew. He said, oh, this drug is good, that drug is good, and his portfolio was just doing too badly. I mean, he would have been much better off putting money in just one pharma fund, and he could have got much better returns. He had made a big mess by having 20-30 companies. I didn't even realize that so many listed companies exist in pharma till I saw his portfolio. So understanding which share to buy, how much to buy, and constructing your portfolio, which includes portfolio sizing, is not going to be very easy, and you have to be willing to sit and learn. If you don't learn, you will make a big mistake. So you will get biased towards your business. For example, if you're a banking person, you will have a lot of banks in your portfolio. If you are a software person, you will have a lot of software in your portfolio, or a combination of two, because saying, oh, I am a banker but I understand software, or vice versa, or the reverse, whatever, but you will end up not having any pharma. And if you are a doctor, you will have only pharma, saying I understand pharma, and you will not have anything else. So this cannot happen. So your portfolio construction has to be as per a plan and well executed. You can go overweight a little bit here and there, but you cannot be completely eliminating certain important industries. Even having